Okay, we're live on Facebook. Hello, Instagram. And I want to talk about wearing masks because right now our country is half open, which is kind of all the way open. People are driving again. People are going to restaurants, at least on balconies and patios, and walking into shops a couple at a time. And here in Boulder, where everyone's kind of liberal and there's tons of scientists, it's not too bad. People are walking around with masks mostly. Um, and there's a little bit of social pressure if you're not wearing a mask. If you're not wearing a mask, people kind of get a little like, why are you being a jerk? When I wear a mask, it doesn't keep me safe. Let's go over the basics. It keeps you safer. When I wear a mask, it's for you. When you wear a mask, it's for me. I could be healthy looking. I could be 80 years old. I could be out of shape, in bad shape. I could have just recovered from something. There's really no way to tell if the person you're walking by is vulnerable. So, what we need to do for the next couple months slash year so that we can keep our restaurants and our bookshops and our small businesses open, the best way we can protect our local businesses and prevent Amazon from eating everything alive, the Amazon virus, is to just be respectful. I'm wearing a Boy Scout bandana. I think it looks kind of cool. I was never a Boy Scout, except for on Halloween. But part of what the Boy Scouts talk about, for all their faults that have come to light over the past few years, is being respectful, being curious. Courteous. Curious as well. Being courteous. So let's remember that being Republican, being Democratic, being a libertarian, being left, being right, being up, being down, we can all believe in being courteous. We can all believe in being respectful. My friend and I were just walking home, and we don't wear a mask when we're biking or walking, right? Because we're in quarantine together. We live together, basically. But when we pass other groups, we just simply raise up the little mask and bada bing, bada boom, forget about it. Forget about it. Sometimes just wearing a mask means forget about it. So it's not a political statement. The only political statement here is from President Trump saying it's a conservative thing and that wearing masks ain't cool. Well, wearing masks may not be cool. You know what isn't cool also? Underwear. Who needs underwear? But I wear underwear. You know why? Because it's practical and nobody needs to see all of that. It's the same with coronavirus. No one needs to see my inner coronavirus swinging around, right? So you put up the mask, be respectful. This is important to me, not because it's liberal versus conservative, but because if we don't do this, as we're seeing even here in Boulder, Colorado, we just had 17 new cases. We only had 63 cases total prior to the last week. I gotta stop banging the desk. I just knocked over the Instagram. Sorry, Instagram folks. You just had a virtual concussion, which is not as bad as the real thing. But the only way we can protect our local businesses and keep them open is to make this work. Otherwise, the governors, conservative and liberal, who believe in science, are going to have to close that down again. So we need to keep our local Trident Cafe here in Boulder open by just being respectful. Now we're walking home together, we're biking home, and this couple walking their dogs, taking up the whole sidewalk, not only are not wearing masks as an option, they could walk by a 90-year-old or someone clearly sick and they don't even have the mask as an option. But they walk straight into us, meaning my friend would have had to jump off the curb into traffic, basically, to be safe. Same with me. That is just not cool. It's just not nice. It's not courteous. It's not Republican. It's not Democrat. It's not cool. So let's just, hopefully all of you agree, not as a political thing, but just as a basic level of courtesy. I think, for those saying, oh, you're conforming, you're listening to the man, it's just physics. It's just science. It's like you wouldn't take an open carton of milk and pour it onto your laptop, right? The government probably agrees with that. But the government doesn't have to tell us because it's effing obvious we shouldn't do that. But if everyone all over the world were doing that, probably the laptop companies and the government would say, stop pouring milk on your open laptop. This is kind of the same situation, except the milk is going to make us sick. It's far more dangerous than this ridiculous analogy I have going. But it's just a dumb thing to do. So just protect yourself, protect others, and keep it off when you're just walking around alone. You know, I kind of drew this little diagram. There's like 5 layers of wearing a mask. The bottom layer, which I don't understand personally, but, you know, better safe than sorry, I guess, is people who wear a mask when they're all alone. That I kind of don't get. If you're driving in a car or you're going for a walk alone, you don't need a mask, but you could have that as an option. But some people just wear it all the time. I personally am not into that. Wearing a mask only when others are close by. That's me. I love that. I like to breathe the air. I'm shoveling in my backyard. I'm doing some landscaping. I'm not going to wear a mask. But if someone walks up and they're trying to walk by, like the old lady this morning, I'm going to get the mask on, or I'm going to get more than 6 feet away from her and be courteous and be respectful. Then there's the level of, you know, the people who like have a mask like dangling from one ear and they walk around, or they have the mask like over their mouth, kind of half-assed, but they're actually talking out of it and their nose is totally uncovered. That doesn't do anything. If I did that in your face, you would be mad. Not because you're a Republican, but because I'm a jerk. Pretending to wear a mask when not, that's level 3. Now we're getting into the jerk levels. So if you're a jerk and you've stayed on this video the whole time, thank you, because I love talking with people who disagree with me. But you are being a jerk. And in this society, it is okay. The customer is not always right. We have to grow up. And if we want all of our local businesses to be able to stay open and not die and have Jeff Bezos take over everything, which is something Republicans and Democrats don't want, let's break up these crazy monopolies. Don't be level 4, which is never wearing a mask. You're a jerk. News at 11. If your mom and dad never gave you boundaries, I'm here to say, here's a boundary. Not a jerk, jerk. Don't be above this line. Things are okay. Oh, you're a jerk. You're okay. You're a nice person. Jerk. Then there's the level of the couple who walked by us taking up the entire sidewalk with their 2 dogs. The dogs were not jerks, by the way. Walking into others who are wearing masks, and they may be doing so for their own health, and you're not wearing a mask. Stop it. It's not a political statement. You're not macho. You're not cool. You're just making liberals and people who believe in science, which is some conservatives still, the Mitt Romney world of conservatives, you're just making us pissed. Wearing a mask sucks. But you know what else sucks? COVID. I love you all. Oh, and here's a diagram from the governor of Colorado, Jared Polis. This is not about being a jerk or not. I'm not going to ascribe to him my attitude problem. But if you're not wearing a mask and the other person isn't wearing a mask, the chance of asymptomatic transmission is very high. Smokey the Bear is mad at you. If you are not wearing a mask and you have it asymptomatically and they are wearing a mask, it's still high because you're not protecting yourself, right? If you are wearing a mask and you're the one who's sick, but you don't know it, and they're not wearing a mask, medium level, you're protecting them from you. If they're wearing a mask and you're wearing a mask, the chances are low, generally. If you're wearing a mask and they're wearing a mask and you're keeping 6 feet apart, very low. And very low chance of getting COVID sounds good. Virtually no danger of getting COVID is staying at home, being isolated, right? But we can't do that long term for the economy in a capitalistic country. It's not just about flattening the curve. The curve will come back as it just did in Boulder because everyone's partying on the hill and everyone's protesting downtown. Now the protests are vital. And most people at these protests are wearing masks. But keeping distance at a protest when everyone's yelling ain't going to happen all the time. So if you are going to a protest, please wear a mask. Most of us are. And then take it off if you have distance. Then put it on if you're close to people. Let me go over this a few more times. I have to wait for Instagram because it's having connection problem. Zuckerberg was offended by the video and he just put it on pause. It's a new conspiracy, folks. All right, big love to everybody. Yeah, well, I don't wear a helmet as a cyclist, Vasa, and there's actually whole countries who don't wear helmets. Wearing bicycling is actually less dangerous for your head than driving a car, but you don't ask people who drive cars to wear helmets. What we do ask as cyclists is for protected separate bike lanes. When I get hit by a car, and I have been hit by various cars, wearing a helmet wouldn't help. It is very smart for children. It's very smart in a country without good bike lanes. So I basically agree. I actually have an article on that subject on Elephant, and it's titled "To Wear a Helmet or Not to Wear a Helmet." That is the question. Thank you, everybody. And please don't be jerks so that we can keep all of our local businesses alive. And please take this out of the hands of President Trump. This should be a conservative thing. This should be a liberal thing. Let's all kumbaya together and just be safe for one another and be respectful and courteous. Thank you so much. Ooh, I can share it directly to IGTV. That's a new one.
Woohoo.
Usually you have to like upload and download all this BS.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, weird, it's not. Did it end earlier? Oh, it's still live? Brilliant.